Hey, Rome, good morning. Rob Cesternino, an honor to be here with perhaps the future host of the On Fire podcast and Survivor at large. Rome, how are you?
Doing good, man. Doing good. It was a wild episode last night, and I'm doing as good as you can be, I guess.
Okay, so Rome, it was a historic tribal council. You got to take over for Jeff. Nobody's ever done that before. At any point during that tribal council, did you get tipped off to what was ultimately going to happen that night?
I mean, I was more tipped off before tribal than at tribal itself of what was going to happen. I knew that there was pretty much going to be a 25% chance that it was going to be me that night. I knew that it's not like it was a straight up blindside. You can even see my reaction when my name started popping up. It wasn't like, what? It's me. It was, why is it me? It was more like confusion. Like, why did none of y'all want to keep me around as a shield when I came and told a lot of y'all information that was the truth? It was a lot of confusion because it's like when you tell so many people the truth, you expect like, hey, those people might want to keep you around. If you're going to tell me the truth once, you might tell me the truth again. You might tell me, this person's gunning for you and things like that. But it ended up backfiring, and it hit a 360 effect instead. So it was mainly before tribal where I'm throwing out Saul's name. I knew Kyle was immune, who I had just put a target on, and nobody else is throwing out a name aside from Saul. So it was pretty much like, okay, if there's no other name getting thrown around, there's a good chance that it might be you if it's not the name that you're putting out there. So I knew there was a good chance that it was going to be me. I had my shot in the dark in my sock when I went up to vote. But I knew that, hey, listen, if I play my shot in the dark, even if it hits, if all these people want me out the game, guess what? It's going to be like Caleb. I'm going to go home next anyway. So it is what it is. So I knew that, hey, listen, I'd rather, use my vote and potentially cause some chaos and hope that I stick around with voting for Sam instead of playing my shot in the dark and hoping that I last another day. So yeah.
In the last episode, it seemed like that you and Saul seem to have had some good, productive conversations. Why throw out Saul's name here once you get to the merge?
Because at this point, I knew that Saul was the only person in the game that 100% wouldn't vote for me if I made it to the final three, and that was the main reason. I pretty much said that at day 3. That's why I was like, you know what, Saul, I would rather have Saul go home. Asia, it's fine if she goes home, but like I'd rather have Saul go home because I know that Saul isn't gonna put a vote on me right now. I was already thinking of jury management at like top 17, which might have been a little bit of an issue, but I was already thinking about that. So that's why I was like, you know what? If it can't be Kyle, I might as well throw out Saul's name. Like people finally were able to see at the challenge, like when Saul was like, Jeff, are we allowed to swap out and things like that? When you're not allowed to swap out. Jeff makes it very clear, like at no challenge in any immunity challenge during the team portion are you able to swap out. So everyone that's like, oh, Rome, why didn't you swap out when Saul asked? We're not allowed to. So like, I don't even know why he was asking, but it is what it is. So everyone was able to see Saul, like, kind of put me down in the moment while I'm trying to solve and clutch it up and be like, are we allowed to swap out? Like while you're doing that in the moment off no food like that is one of the most demoralizing things to hear is your tribe mate pretty much saying like, I don't believe in you in the moment. So I pretty much like used that, which Saul had done in that immunity challenge, in the previous immunity challenge on the puzzle as well. I pretty much used that to talk with other people and try to get people to be down to vote for Saul because of the way they saw him treat me at the immunity challenge. And it ended up not working out mainly because, Kyle won immunity and he was able to rally the troops around like and say like, hey, what Rome said that I said wasn't true, even though it was. And so yeah, I think that was just a little bit of a mistake from my end.
Can you talk us through what were you going for? You had that conversation with Kyle, and he did give you a lot of information to go around and then to start telling everybody what Kyle had said. What were you hoping to have happen?
So long story short, Kyle told me all these things and I was like, okay, this is cool. I'm on board with this. Like you said, Sam and Tiana, the big threats that he wants to get out of the game. I was like, cool. Sam's his target number 1. I was like, awesome. That's my target number 1. I was like, this guy, he's talking, making nice with everybody at the merge. So I was like, okay, like, me and Kyle are on the same page. Then Kyle said something about Sue and Caroline that was outside of the game. I'm not going to repeat what it was, but Kyle said something that was outside of the game. I'm not going to repeat it. Everyone in the game knows what he said because I obviously shared the information the next morning. So that's why Sue and Caroline were so angry at Kyle because of what he said. So if they ever want to divulge in that, or if anyone wants to divulge in that, I'll let them. I'm not going to be the one to do it because it didn't make the edit, was outside the game. But that was the reason why I pretty much was like, no, I'm not going to work with you. Like you said that, I'm not working with someone like that. Like I'd never host another anything again if I ever said that about someone. So I was like, nope, can't do it. So I was like, nope, going to Sue and Caroline. I'd rather work with you guys than try to target you guys with Kyle. So that was truly it. It was a straight up personal thing for me. I would have worked with Kyle, but once he said what he said, I wasn't going to work with him anymore.
Okay. Rome, looking back at your game, I know you're an astute commentator. Is there anything that you feel like that you should have been doing differently?
Yeah, I feel like honestly, the biggest thing that I should have done was be quiet when you hit the merge. Like everyone knows, and it's so funny because I said in a confessional too. It doesn't make. I said, okay, I'm at the merge. Now is where you need to do nothing to get past the first vote. And I was just straight up even said like it's gonna be hard for me to do nothing because like it's just very hard. You know, I got undiagnosed ADHD. You don't gotta tell me I got it. I know I got it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's very hard for me to sit still and not be able to do anything. So that was definitely my biggest flaw in my opinion at the merge was pretty much just not being quiet and just letting the chips fall as they may. So yeah. But
Well,
when it came to the pre-merge, I know it wasn't shown. I had a super strong alliance from day one. Literally, Asia went on the journey, and you hear me in a confessional say that was a big mistake. We hit the beach. We make a 4-person alliance with me, Teeny, Genevieve, and Keyshawn before Asia even got back. So I straight up told my alliance within the first 10 minutes of us being on the beach, hey guys, I'm gonna go look for the idol so that Asia and Saul don't have it. So all my alliance members was like, awesome, go look for it. This is perfect. So then I start going look for the idol. That's why I was able to find it day one because I had so much free time because my alliance was covering for me. So I think it was really interesting how they didn't show that alliance at all. But if you always look at who's calling me out, who's like, oh man, Rome's gone. Where's Rome at? Things like that. It's always Asia and Saul. It's never Teeny and Keyshawn and Genevieve, the ones calling me out and being like, man, where's Rome at? Rome's been gone a while. It's Teeny being like, for real? Rome's been gone a while? Like, it's pretty obvious that she's covering for me if you watch it back. But it would have made the Asia vote very freaking boring if they would have shown that we had the 4-cheese pizza alliance, which was our name. We had an alliance name and everything. I was cheddar. I think Keyshawn was mozzarella. Genevieve was provolone and Teeny was Parmesan, right? It's like we had a 4-cheese pizza alliance. It lasted up until the Keyshawn vote, but yeah, we had a name for it and everything. So it would have been a very boring first boot. And that's why when you see me going to Saul on the first boot and kind of being like, yeah, so everyone's going to be writing down Asia. And he's like, bro, it's only been 30 minutes. And I'm like, yeah, that's all it took. Like, that's a long time to talk about deciding between two people. And it's funny because everyone's like, man, Rome was lying to Saul in that moment. I was literally telling him the truth. So it's just funny how like people can perceive me like lying to someone. And I was like straight up just telling him what was going to happen that night. So it was a very cut and dry vote, honestly.
Let's go back to this last vote. So what went wrong with 2 of the cheeses knew what was going on, but then didn't loop you into the vote? Do you have any hard feelings towards Teeny or Genevieve for not working harder to save you?
If they would have been immune, I might feel some type of way. But honestly, no. Like, that's the thing about there being 12 people that are eligible to be voted out is that nobody wants to make a move. And that's kind of the issue with it. And I mean, Jeff talked about it on his podcast last night. It's why he said he's not a fan of this many people being immune because it creates cagey gameplay. And that's kind of what happened. Like, you saw it happen. There wasn't really another story to tell other than it's going to be Rome tonight. That's why it was so obvious that it's going to be Rome tonight because everyone's playing cagey. No one really wanted to make a move. But if Genevieve and Teeny win immunity on that half, then maybe they let me know because they know it can't come back to backfire on them in the moment. So I don't have any hard feelings against them. It's a game at the end of the day. They did what they felt was best in the moment for their game. And, you know, we just got to wait and see how it all plays out for them.
Rum, there's a secret scene this week where you, kind of like Bruce in Survivor 45, decided, hey, I'm not going to go look for this advantage. Everybody else can go look for the advantage. I'm not looking for it. And you had looked so much for advantages earlier in the game. Why did you change your strategy about the advantages around this one?
Mainly because, like I said, when you hit the merge, it's almost a brand new game. So, like, you know, you don't want to put a target on your back. I already know that Teeny went on a journey and also went on a hot dog reward. So I know regardless of what Teeny said, I know that she was talking about what was going down in Lavo. So I'm sitting here like, okay, they're probably going to think I'm chaotic. So if I'm out here looking for advantages and out hard idol hunting and things like that, people are going to be like, man, this Rome guy is exactly what Teeny talked about or exactly what, you know, we expected. So I was like, you know what, let me not do that. Let me chill, talk with Caroline, you know, make a connection, you know, make alliances, make relationships. And I was able to do that. You know, I was able to talk with a lot of people and a lot of people felt good about working with me. It was just how the chips fell about 24 hours later that things didn't work out.
The puzzle from a couple of weeks ago, just want to confirm that was not a throw.
Not a throw. We all sucked at puzzles. I don't know why. I said it during casting. I was like, I suck at puzzles, Jeff. But one person on my tribe that's good at puzzles. No one on our tribe was confident in puzzles. Not Asia, not Keyshawn, not Teeny, not Genevieve, not Saul. Not one person was confident in those type of puzzles. We walked into the challenge 24 hours after failing at this puzzle miserably. We see the exact same type of puzzle, and we all go, oh, it's over. We all instantly knew before we even started that challenge that it was over. We were like, we all suck at these type of puzzles. So we all said, like, Keyshawn, you want to do it? You did it yesterday. Keyshawn was like, no, I just failed yesterday. We only got 3 pieces. Yeah. We asked Saul. Saul, you want to do it? Saul's like, no, I'm bad at puzzles. Teeny, you want to do it? No, I'm bad at puzzles. Okay. So there's just me and Genevieve, and I'm like,
let's skip to the table maze then. So what was the issue with the table maze? Was it you or Gabe? Who was the problem on the table maze?
Gabe. I mean, if you look at it, we got to the very end like 5 times. And at the end of the table maze, it's up to the person on the right side to yank it and lift it up so that the ball falls in. You can watch Charlie do it on season 46 on his immunity challenge. You can watch even Sam do it on his in this episode. Sam clearly hard lifted up, and Gabe never hard lifted up. He always let it roll to the side. So we literally got it to the middle so many times and just weren't able to clutch it up, mainly because of what happened on that side, which was the ending side. So I can't control what happens on that side of the board.
In the preseason, you spoke with Mike Bloom before the game started. You told Mike Bloom that you had a move up your sleeve that was going to change the game of Survivor, a move that even your fiance said, are you allowed to do that? You said, well, there's no rule that says you're not allowed to do that. Did we get to see that? And if not, what was that move going to be?
I got to sit in Jeff's seat. You didn't notice? No, I'm just kidding. No, I actually didn't get to do the big move. The opportunity never came up. It's a very specific opportunity, but it does happen quite a bit. So who knows, man? Who knows? If I ever go back out there, you know, maybe you're
saving it for Survivor 50.
Hey, man, I don't know about 50, but we'll have to wait and see, man.
Saving it for Survivor Rome.
Survivor Rome. There we go. Yeah.
Rome, you talked about how you were in the running, hopefully, to be the next host of the On Fire podcast. What changes would you bring to the On Fire podcast?
I think I would bring a little bit of a different insight. I don't know about changes I would bring because it's not my job to say what's supposed to change about it. But I think that I would just bring a little bit of a different insight. Obviously, you know, the last few people that have been there have at least made, you know, top 4 of the first 3. So having someone that, you know, did make it to the quote unquote merge. I don't know if you're going to consider this a merge, but I see a lot of people online calling it a merge. Because
I feel like it was a merge.
Yeah. So like essentially making it to the merge, like a lot of people are going to be like, hey, like, you know, you made it to the merge. So you got to at least experience the full dynamic. So you get to see someone that was playing probably one of the hardest games that we've seen play in the pre-merge and make it through the pre-merge to be able to live on a beach with everyone and at least get through that portion of the game. So I think it would be interesting to get that perspective from someone, because right now, all the people that have been on the podcast right now have went hard at the end of the game, not really at the beginning. So I think it would be definitely an interesting perspective to have change up.
Rom, I would love to get your insight on some of the other players that we haven't gotten to hear you talk about yet, but I know we're running out of time. Do you think that you might be able to give us some of those thoughts in a freestyle rap?
In a freestyle rap, oh my gosh, freestyle rap would be crazy. You know, Sierra, when I first met her, she was really vibrant. You know, it was really cool to go and meet her on the island. And when it comes to Tiana, you can tell she's really driven. I don't really know if she's gonna win. Who knows? Some feel like it's a given. And then we got Annika. People can tell that she's a leader. I don't know. It didn't look like she had a lot of food. Somebody go ahead and feed her. Then we got Keyshawn. The dude was delightful. I don't know. He seemed pretty freaking insightful. At the end of the day, Asia seemed a little sullen. It was kind of doling her vote out, but it is what it is. And, you know, TK, the dude was absolutely lovable. When I saw him at Ponderosa, he was extremely huggable. Then we come to John. The dude was hilarious. You know, the way that he played the game was very vicarious. Then we come to Rachel. She was super down to earth. You know, every time I talked with her, it was exactly what it was worth. And then we come down to Sam. He's a wolf in wolf's clothing. We'll see what happens with Sam. We'll see exactly what he's showing. I don't know. That's all I got for you right now, man. That's all I got.
It's a tough spot. This is a tough spot.
Tough spot off the top. Thank you.
You're up for the challenge. You're up for the challenge. All right. Rome, anything else you want to share with people before we go? And by the way, I think this might have been the most words per exit interview, I think, ever. So incredible job by you setting records.
Oh, yeah. Just that I had a ton of fun, man. And like, I want people to remember, like, it's a game. Like, everything that I did was in the context of the game. Everyone can say, oh, Rome was this, Rome was this. Who I am in the game and who I'm portrayed as doesn't mean that that's who I am as a person in my everyday life. Like, you know, like everyone that knows me in my everyday life, they're like, bro, like this edit is absolutely insane. But at the end of the day, it's a game and I'm playing the game as hard as possible. Every single thing that I did was in the context of the game. And, you know, I never took anything outside of the game, never called anyone out of their name, never did anything like that. So also the fact that I didn't follow Saul around until an hour before tribal, that wasn't shown. It was like swapped up a little bit different. It made it look like I did it in the morning, that it was like super crazy, but literally all that happened after I gave him the ultimatum. Like I didn't follow him until he said, I'm not giving you my shot in the dark. I'm gonna go look for the idol. So that was a little bit construed. I was like, why was that? Like, cause it was such a scramble in the last hour that like, it was wild. So it was a little bit more justified with only like 30 minutes left before tribal to follow him around, making sure he doesn't get an idol in the next 30 minutes. So yeah.
Okay. Well, Rome, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for giving us so much to talk about here in this season, and all the best to you. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right. Take care. Bye.